Tonight, there's a set 3-course menu. Each of you will take personal responsibility for one of those courses.
Chocolate fondant, orange jelly, and honey anglaise. The pressure's on. You've done chocolate fondant before. You've done it really well. Now you need to perfect that one today.
You'll be judged on 2 main criteria for today, and that will include, obviously, how the food looks and tastes, but also how you perform in the kitchen. I'll be here with you all day, including service, looking at what you're doing. George and Matt will go into the dining room with the guests later on this evening and judge your food and the overall feel in the dining room. The guests are arriving at 7 and they're sitting down at 7:30.
It's 1:30 now, and the guests are going to sit down to eat at 7:30, so we've got 6 hours. It sounds like a long time, but once we get into these jobs, I think everything's going to be a lot more time-consuming than we first gave it credit for.
You're in a beautiful kitchen. You got your crisp white jacket on. Stay clean, stay tidy. Dirty chefs put up dirty food. Do you hear me?
Yes, Chef.
Right, guys. Good luck. Your time starts now.
Good luck, guys. I have to make 35 portions of the chocolate fondant dish. Apart from the chocolate fondants, I have to make a honey crème anglaise, chill biscuits in the shape of little leaves, piped chocolate onto the plate, and the blood orange jelly. First thing I'm going to do is make my blood orange jelly because that has to set in the fridge. Yeah, this does feel like a restaurant service, I guess. You know, we're coming in doing the prep all day, serving customers tonight, but it's not every day that you serve food to the Governor General, so it's you know, it's a big day. This is taking a lot longer than it should, juicing the oranges manually. I need 2 litres of orange juice for my jelly, so it's quite a time-consuming task. After I've squeezed quite a few oranges, I find the chef and ask him where the juicer is because this is ridiculous. Fantastic. Thank you, Chef. Not the best start to the challenge, but hopefully I can make that time up in other areas.
You need to wake up and have a good look around yourself because you're in a commercial kitchen, right? So remember what I spoke to you about in terms of keeping clean and tidy?
Yeah.
Don't panic. Don't make it so enormous in your head. Clean down your space.
Okay.
So sort yourself out now. Better now that you've made these mistakes rather than later. Okay? Come on, mate.
Thanks, Josh. The next thing I do is make the chill biscuit mixture. It has to sit in the fridge for 2 hours before I can use it, so I need to get it done nice and early, so I've still got time to pipe all the designs out, which is going to take a long time. It's a pretty intricate pattern. The next thing I'm going to do is make my honey crème anglaise because that can just sit in the fridge until service time. This is one of the easier parts of the dessert. It's just a basic custard that's accompaniment, so I'm feeling quite confident with it.
You seem to be flying, man. Every time I see you run past, you're doing something new.
I don't know, mate. There's 3 hours until the guests sit down for dinner. It's now time that I start making my chill biscuits. This is going to be probably the most time-consuming part of my dish.
You'll need to pipe your chill mix onto the lines to get the leaf looks.
So when you say 2 at a time, 2 and 2 on the tray, then 2 in the oven, then 2 and then 2, like that. Okay. Is that because they cook really quickly?
That's right.
Okay. I start piping chills. I need 70 biscuits in total because they're only pliable when they're straight out of the oven. If you do too many on the tray at once, by the time you've done the first couple, the other ones will have set and be brittle and they won't fold over the rolling pin. So you can only do a couple on a tray at once. So it's just a matter of piping and baking and having a rotating tray system. Done 9 portions. Oh, this is gonna take forever. Only 26 to go. I've been doing the twirls for about an hour and a half, so it's pretty time consuming, but you know, it's just one of those things that you can't rush, otherwise it's just gonna be wrong. I think the biggest concerns for me are making sure everything gets on the plate at service time. There's a lot of elements on this dish, and if they're not all on, then the dish isn't going to be complete and the judges aren't going to be impressed.
Also, it might be an idea if you design what it is you're going to do first on paper.
Okay.
Make the design, okay? And that way you know what it is you're going to do in your head before you put it on the plate.
As time ticks away, I don't have that many processes left to do, but each process takes so long when you're doing it for 35 people. So it's a little bit concerning, but I think I can get everything done in time.
Right, that's it, guys. The butterflies are building in my tummy. This is the time, as a chef, I hit the red button. Oh, it's service time.
Plating up the first couple of components on this dish has taken me a lot longer than I thought. The jellies are coming out, but it's a pretty time-consuming process. So I'm glad I'm cleaning up now because this is going to take me a lot longer than I first gave it credit for, I think. I really need to crack on because I still haven't made the fondant yet. It's by far the most important part of the dish, and I don't feel good about leaving it to the last minute. If it's not right, I could be going home today.
I don't know, I'm not quite sure. How would you normally work it?
The hero of this dessert is definitely the fondant. Possibly got the hardest dish to plate up to water because those fondants, it's really tricky to get them out on time without over or undercooking them. There's no hiding it if you don't get it right. So I need to get these into the oven now to bake because otherwise they're not going to be cooked in time for the dessert to be cold.
Callum, you've got 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes tops to get this dessert finished and ready.
8:40 hits. This is it. This is the time for the dessert to go out.
You know what? It all comes down to you. Everybody else has served their courses.
I know.
Now it's dessert.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I've possibly got the hardest dish to plate up to water because those fondants, it's really tricky to get them out on time without over or undercooking them and get them all out warm.
You need to cool them down as quick as you can.
My place in this competition could be riding on how those fondants are cooked. And the longer they sit in those hot tins, the more likely it is that they're going to be overcooked.
Go on, Cal, you can do it, mate.
The tins have just come out of a 190-degree oven, so they're pretty hot. I don't have any choice, I just have to keep going. Can you please do the other side?
I need them now, hey?
Callum, are you nearly there?
Yes, chef.
Ready to go?
Yes, chef.
Pick up.
Yes, chef, they're ready.
They look fabulous. The question is, are they soft in the middle?
I'm really worried about those fondants, though. I think some of them are going to be overcooked, and you know the judges aren't going to find that acceptable at all.
I can't wait to cut into it to see if it's oozy and gooey.
I'm being assailed with those waves of chocolate that's just wafting up from that pudding. It's a great moment. I can't wait to see how it tastes. That is lovely, thick, chocolatey interior. Mine's absolutely perfect, whereas yours, George, is rather... Oh, I don't know, George, because I'm just going to keep going because this is very nice. Are you okay? Are you going to be all right? Oh, you probably don't need more chocolate pudding.
I'm going to have to steal someone's.
I'm going to show you something really incredible right now. It's a pumpkin soup, best of the season, with a parsnip puree and then a nice little parsnip and ham-on garnish. So the first thing I'm going to do is start the parsnips. If you have a look at a parsnip, there's actually quite a woody core to it. It can be a little mealy, so you remove that part of the parsnip. Into a pan, we're going to put a little butter, and we're going to create a brown butter, but we're not going to take it too far. Whilst I'm waiting for my butter, I'll move straight on to your next job, which is, of course, making the base of the soup. So I've got a couple of shallots and do sort of a fine dice. So shallots go into the pan. See how nutty that butter's gotten? Can you smell it? See the colour?
Yeah.
So you want to get that little bit of nuttiness in there, but you don't want to burn it. That's the last thing you want to do. Then you add your parsnip. We're going to cook it for just a minute in that hot brown butter and season it. Once your parsnips had a minute or so in that brown butter, go ahead and add about the same quantities, cream and milk to parsnips. So I've got about a cup of all three of those. And you're going to bring that up to a simmer. Into your shallots go your pumpkin. And you just want to toss that around, OK? I'm going to cook the pumpkin in chicken stock. I pour that over and bring it to the boil.
Curtis, how much chicken stock was that?
4 cups. 600 grams of pumpkin, 4 cups of stock, so a litre. Whilst this is now cooking, we're going to think about our garnish for the soup. I've got a couple of things that we're going to do, little parsnip chips and some ham-on chips as well. first things first, let's do the ham on. So a little bit of a chef's trick is we get some parchment onto a tray and then you get your ham on, or your prosciutto. Take those beautiful thin slices, drop it onto your tray like that. And then we're going to use the weight of a second tray to sort of weigh it down and give you a perfectly even, flat chip. So second piece of parchment over the top. Drop your second tray, which is going to hold it in place. All right, into an oven, nice and hot, like 180, 200 degrees. And they'll come out perfectly crisp. All right, next, parsnips. Have you all used a Japanese mandolin?
Yes.
They're one of the best tools in the kitchen. I mean, have a look at these gorgeous little thin slices, almost ribbons of parsnip that I've got. What I've done is made a really quick brine. So I've got some orange juice, a little salt, a little sugar, some coriander seeds that I've just lightly toasted and gently crushed, and brought that up to the boil with some water, okay? And I'm not going to give you the quantities because I want you to always taste things. What I'm looking for is for it to be quite aggressively salty, a little sweetness to sort of balance that out. The orange juice, of course, is there to bring in a different flavour. And this brine, as it were, is sort of going to just be used to dip my parsnip in, and we're going to dehydrate these chips so they're beautifully flavoured and they don't oxidise. So it sort of serves two purposes. So you go ahead and just drop this straight onto a dehydrating rack, like that. You can use your oven for the exact same purpose. So you just set it on as low as your oven will go, and you can literally leave these in overnight. The next morning, they'll be beautiful and crispy and delicious. Bring it over to this guy, and you literally just pop the rack in like that, close it up, and let the magic happen. Okay, so once you're sure that your parsnip is done, bring it over to your Thermomix. If you haven't got a Thermomix, you can use a food processor, you can use a stick blender, you can use a blender, all those things sort of work. So, and just add it, be careful, and then you just turn that on. It's about to take off. And then just slowly turn it back down. And you see you've got this gorgeous, creamy parsnip puree. And now time to incorporate the smoke. So who's done this before? Jessica, come on up and give me a hand. Okay, so you pull the cling film nice and tight. Just leave yourself a little opening like that. Little switch, you turn that on and that sucks the air through it. You get it hot, and then you get the smoke in there. Go for it. That's it. Make sure you don't lose too much. How cool's that? Thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome. Good job, Jessica.
So your pumpkin soup is now sort of cooking down. You'll see it starting to break up. Bring it over. Go ahead and pour that in, and then I build its speed right up. Right, so you want to strain your soup. So you see I'm just tapping it through. You can push it through, but then you're going to force any impurities right back through your strainer. Right, so this goes back onto the heat. We're going to warm that back through. I'm going to take my ham on chips out. Let's get ourselves some parsnip chips. Right, last finishing touch to our soup is a little orange zest, just a little hint. I've got some orange juice, about 60 mils or so, which is exactly that much. Another incredible winter fruit. So always try and work with the best of the seasons. Give it a stir, have a taste. Oh, beautiful. Right, a little trick, when you're ladling soup, see how it keeps dripping, right? If you pick it up and then drop it back in and just touch it, you'll get about 5 seconds before you get your first drip. Have you used one of these guys before? It's an ISI. It's a really simple way of incorporating some air. So once this has had sort of 20 minutes under smoke, literally spoon it straight in. Right, go ahead, give this another shake. In the center of your soup, you're going to add a little of your puree. Get your parsnip chip and then the ham on. I'm literally going to use one piece here, and that'll probably garnish all 4 plates. So just a little shard of it. And that's it. You've got a pumpkin soup that's been elevated by a beautiful smoky parsnip puree, ham on chip, and a parsnip crisp as well.
Beautiful.
Okay, who wants to taste? Stephen, Ava, come up.
Beauty. Oh, it's delicious.
So what do you taste, Stephen?
How smooth the soup is, the texture's just amazing. And smokiness from the parsnip puree with the sweetness of all that just works really well.
The parsnip on the top is really, really lovely. And the saltiness, there's not a lot of saltiness in the soup or the parsnip, but then that ham on the top is beautiful.
Do you know what? It's such a staple. I don't think there's a household in Australia that at some point hasn't served pumpkin soup, right?
Totally.
But today you guys have learned about smoking and dehydrating and using an ISI and incorporating air into a foam. You know, so there's a little bit of technique that can go into this to really elevate it to something really special.
No.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
When little mystery boxes are at mystery box school and they're sitting around the playground, they dream of making it to the MasterChef kitchen, but they dream above all of being this mystery box today. Because never before have we had such a hero of mine fill a mystery box. Every ingredient has been personally chosen by one of the greats of the cooking world. Someone who believes that enjoying food is a way of celebrating life. Someone who believes that a kitchen is not just a room, but a flavor palace of sensual delights. Please welcome the queen of home cooking around the world, the one and only domestic goddess, Nigella Lawson.
Everybody's heads just explode. Nigella Lawson.
Do you know how excited they are? My goodness.
It's the most fantastic welcome. I mean, thank you. I just can feel I'm going to have a fantastic time. So I'm thanking you in advance. OK, everyone, you can lift your lids now. Woo!
Jeez. Oh. Some beautiful ingredients there.
Wonderful. Some butternut pumpkin.
Yep.
Chestnuts, chicken thighs. I love a crisp skin, you know, even when it's cooked without the meat, fried like chicken crackling.
Oh, yum.
Some pippies from South Australia.
Delicious.
Fresh ginger. For me, I love that. It gives that incredible warmth. And pancetta. Some feta.
Oh, thank you.
And I've got some cumin. Just one of my favourite spices, if not my favourite spice. There's sweet, there's salty, there's heat, and there's warmth. Everything here. I could live off this for a very long time. I'm very happy. And really, these ingredients, I feel it'll be impossible to eat badly.
No excuses, really? No. Delicious food.
I'm getting hungry.
So, you're all thinking hard. What am I going to cook for Nigella? Pressure is on. You have 60 minutes to cook one delicious dish using at least one of those ingredients. Nigella, do you want to do the honours? Kick them off?
I do. I feel as nervous as you do. So, your time starts now.
I'm feeling really confident with Nigella's mystery box. I've learnt so much from her cookbooks and I can't wait to show her a few techniques. I'm making a pumpkin phyllo stack today. Phyllo is pretty quick to make. It's just one layer of pastry. The trick is getting it really thin.
Oh my goodness, you're
Doing phyllo.
You're doing your own phyllo. I
Yes,
love it.
I
That's
am.
great.
You're meant to be able to read a newspaper through a sheet.
I reckon I can see your fingerprints through this.
I'm really impressed.
I'm doing like a open phyllo pumpkin pie. So I've got a layer of roasted pumpkin, a layer of mashed pumpkin, the phyllo in between.
You've got a wee bit to do, but I really hope you pull it off.
Good luck, then.
Thank you, Nigella.
I'll be pushing it, but I want to challenge myself and I really want to nail it.
Nigella has to taste my dish today. It's not an option, she has to, and I'm going to cook my heart out and really get there.
The goal is simple. Make us a delicious dish that makes Nigella and, of course, us smile.
Yes, yeah.
30 minutes down, 30 to go. Come on.
Come on.
It's exciting, actually, isn't it, Matt? It's exciting.
Come on, man.
Bacon on the second layer.
Today I'm using phyllo pastry to do an open phyllo pumpkin pie. I've got the phyllo in the oven. Now I've got to move on to my pumpkin. Okay, so I need to make sure there's as much flavour in that pumpkin as possible. In between the crispy phyllo sheets, it's really all I've got. Pumpkin can be really sweet. So I've got some cumin, I've got some salty feta and some pancetta all into my mash to get that smoky, salty flavour.
So good.
It tastes amazing. The creaminess of the pumpkin and the crunch of the phyllo should give this really nice texture that I'm hoping will impress Nigella. Now it all depends on that phyllo pastry. If it's not crispy and golden, I won't be able to stack my layers and my dish won't have the crunch it needs.
I'm just waiting for it to brown a little bit, and it's going to be right down the line for plate up. It's going brown.
I checked my phyllo, it's nice and crisp and golden. I've got all my elements there and I start the stack. Phyllo, pumpkin mash, phyllo, sprinkle of bacon and then beautiful ginger syrup dripping around. I'm so happy with the balance of flavours and textures. I'm really hoping it will impress Nigella today.
10 seconds to go. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Your time's up.
Great
That was hectic.
That was so much fun.
Nigella put together a beautiful mystery box full of ingredients that, let's face it, all went together. So we've picked our 5 top dishes. First one up to the bench is Heather.
Really hoped that this would happen today. It is food from the heart and someone that I would love to impress, so it's a big deal.
Menu description?
It's an open phyllo pumpkin pie.
Wow.
That looks glorious, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks amazing.
Can't wait for Nigella to try it. I've learnt a lot from your cookbooks, so yeah, it's a real privilege.
Rather big mouthful, but never mind. Never stopped me before. Is that your bit?
Yeah.
Gee. Do you love it?
You can tell? I think the contrast of textures is fantastic. But more than that, I love the flavours. The smokiness and subtlety means that you keep wanting to go back in for more. This is something that creates joy.
Perfect.
It's a highlight for me of the stuff we've eaten on the show this year. I love the creaminess from the puree, crunch from the phyllo. It's a delicious dish.
You know, there are moments in the competition which we all love, where a contestant puts up a surprising and delicious dish, an unexpected dish, and we all kind of shake our hands and go, yeah, fantastic, that's what this show's all about, and that's exactly what you've done there. Well done.
Well done, Heather.
My heart's beating so fast. I'm super proud of myself. This is why I'm here, and this is the level I want to be at.